All right, I'm really excited. I'm so glad that you joined me tonight. My name is Christina Campbell. I'm a nationally registered certified master aromatherapist. I have been doing Young Living for 23 years. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to believe. It'll be 23
Hold
years.
on. Hey, hold on just a second.
Oops, we've got some people that are unmuted, so I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone. There we go. And feel free to unmute yourself at any time. Because, you know, just feel free. We want you to do that if you have something that you want to say. Okay. I'm so excited about this particular lesson because this lesson I started teaching many, many years ago. This is about thieves. And a lot of times when you're introduced to thieves, I got my wrong glasses on. Many times when you're introduced to thieves, you say, what? That word, that name, who came up with that? And then we get to tell you a little story. So I'm going to tell you that little story. If I can move my presentation, it's not, let's see. Down. There we go. Okay. So this is the story of thieves. It is a story of intrigue and betrayal and amazement. So the intrigue part is, back during the bubonic plague, there was a mysterious band of thieves. This was during the 15th century in Marseille, and in France, and they began rubbing their bodies down with essential plant oils and going out into the night during the worst plague in history, known as the Black Plague. They actually were they were perfumers during the daytime, but at night they were grave robbers, and they would steal from the dead and dying. They were robbing the precious possessions of their fellow men and women in the village who were dying of this plague. Well, they finally got busted by the local constabulary, and they asked them to give up their magic because how was it that they weren't getting sick and everybody else was? It was because they were using these precious plant oils. They actually had a vat of vinegar and they would soak their clothing and rags that they would put over their mouth, thus masking, and they never got sick. The band of thieves did not get the plague, and they finally confessed that they had come from a long family of apothecaries or spice and oil traders. So the hope was that these precious oils were then published, they were posted in the Times Square, what they used, and this was the beginning of the end of the Black Plague. So what were those made of? We know that if we fast forward to the 21st century, Dr. D. Gary Young introduced this formula to the modern world, and it became the #1 defense for modern day plagues. How cool is that? The #1. This is Gary. Wonderful picture of Gary. He's in Ecuador, at our farm in Ecuador, and he's probably trying to find a new species of plant. I'm going to tell you everything you ever wanted to know about these tonight. I'm going to get down into the science. I'm going to get down into the studies that have been done. It's just such a phenomenal oil. And what we did to expand this oil into so many other products that we can use in our home today. So Thieves is a synergistic, power-packed blend of clove, lemon, cinnamon bark, eucalyptus radiata, and rosemary. It's amazing. And that's basically what they were soaking their clothing and these masks, these rags that they put over their mouths. They were soaking them in vats of vinegar with these plants in them. Now, some renditions of the story, I think there's about 17 different renditions, and you can Google the 4 Thieves of Marseille, the Vinegar Thieves. Some of the recipes had peppermint in it. We do add peppermint to our Thieves hand sanitizer. It just kind of gives it a little uplifting boost. Love that part of it. But check it out. It's really, really interesting. I want to talk a little bit, just exclusively right now, about clove oil so that you can understand why this synergistic blend is so power packed. So this is called the mystery of Ternate or Ternate. And the Ternate is an island in the Moluccas archipelago, which is a string of islands. And it was the site of extensive clove cultivation in the 16th century. When the Dutch destroyed the clove trees to protect their monopoly, the native inhabitants were decimated by disease. Researchers attributed the sudden onset of epidemics to the lack of clove leaves and flowers sufficient to purify the air. That clove had been growing there for centuries, and it had literally protected that island and its inhabitants from disease. And so when they were destroyed, disease ran rampant. It just goes to show you how powerfully protective this is. I know that's why we don't get sick in our house, because we use all these precious oils and we use them every day. So let's a bit more about clove. Did you know that clove is the highest antioxidant oil in the world? There is no other essential oil that is higher in antioxidant activity than clove. It has an ORAC score of over 1 million. And a lot of times people say, well, what are antioxidants and why do I care? Well, antioxidants are measured by the oxygen radical absorption capacity table. And it is a method of measuring those things that cause damage to our cells. Antioxidants actually reverse free radical damage. So antioxidants are kind of like your youth juice, if you will. Your youth juice. Yeah, I like that. Now we get millions and billions of free radicals every day from the air we breathe, the water we eat, and the food that we eat, the air that we breathe and the food that we eat. However, if we're not taking in lots of antioxidants, we will, I look at it as rust from the inside out. And the power of clove oil is just amazing. There have been clinical studies that have shown that clove can kill 60 different species of gram-negative and positive bacteria, 13 different fungi, and 2 different viruses. And I have that study for you right here. So you can see the list of bacteria. There's actually 2 columns of bacteria to include, my gosh. We're going to talk about Klebsiella pneumonia, Streptococcus pneumonia, Streptococcus aureus. You've heard of MRSA, methicillin Streptococcus resilient aureus, MRSA, methicillin, yeah, I think that's what it was. But we have a lot of other gram-negative and positive bacteria as well. Streptococcus as well. So strep throat, staph infections. It's just amazing. It was tested against 13 different molds and fungus. And I'm going to give you some really, really great information on let's see, he is an environmental engineer, and the studies that he did on killing mold in facilities like an apartment facility. And it was tested against herpes 1 and herpes 2. I will go a little step further and say that I believe that these are just what they tested and that they can kill much, much more. I mean, this is only what they tested. So let's see what else we find. So in 1997, there was a study by Sue Chow, who at that time was part of the research and development team with Young Living, Dr. Young and Dr. Oberg. They tested Thieves essential oil and found its antimicrobial effects against pathogenic aerosols such as Micrococcus luteus, which is a common gram-positive bacterium, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, which is a gram-negative bacteria found in soil and dust that can cause serious infections in immune-compromised hosts, and Staphylococcus aureus. This is a gram-positive opportunistic human pathogen that's carried by about 30% of the population. See, the thing is that we carry bacteria and viruses in our bodies sometimes for a lifetime. I know of many parents who have complained about their teenagers having chronic strep throat. They would have a strep throat and then they would take a round of antibiotics, and then not weeks later, they would have strep throat again, and they would continue to go through this cycle. And what it does is it completely destroys the natural bacteria, the healthy bacterial flora in the gut. And then the immune system gets to the point where it's almost impossible to fight off anything. And the bacteria, even after taking all of those antibiotics, continues to live on in the human host because it just doesn't do what it really needs to do. So in the next few slides, you're going to see some of these test results that were done in 1997. Here is the bacterial count in CFUs, units, on the left-hand side. And these are the three pathogens: Micrococcus luteus, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, and Staphylococcus aureus. This was before, the bacterial count before, and then the bacterial count after they used an aerosol spray of Thieves. You can see that it does a really good job at eliminating that bacteria count. These antiseptic action actually ended up increasing with time. And this is just diffusion. And oh, by the way, when we diffuse Thieves to get rid of bacteria, airborne bacteria and viruses, we use the pure oil diffuser, which right now would be the Aroma Lux, diffuser, which you can get from Young Living. And I'm happy to say that any diffusers now that you buy on Subscribe to Save, you're getting full PV points. I was just amazed when I read that. So that's really great. Yeah, it's the Aroma Lux that you want to use if you're diffusing because someone's sick or you want to make sure that they do not get sick. When we first started in Young Living, we didn't have the mist diffusers with the water. We had the pure oil diffusers back in the day. Does that mean that the mist diffusers are not as effective? They are effective. It's just that this puts out a mist of pure oil. And an Aroma Lux will cover about 1,500 square feet. So that's going to cover a pretty large room. Okay. Inhibiting toxic molds. Okay, so we talked about bacteria and viruses. We're going to talk about mold right now. It's so effective in inhibiting toxic molds. One mold called Aspergillus parasiticus is a soil-borne fungus growing on both living and decaying plant matter. This mold produces mycotoxins as metabolic byproducts. Now, for many of you, you know that I do the Zyto, and a Zyto is a test where you put your hand on a hand cradle and it checks your energetic field through galvanic skin response, and it checks about 198 different biomarkers. My Zyto does. And that I find comes up quite a bit actually are mycotoxins in the blood. And I believe is, and I will ask the client usually, do you eat a lot of peanut butter? You know, are you eating peanuts? We even have to watch almonds now because they too have been known to have mold on them. But peanuts are notorious for mold. One mycotoxin is aflatoxin B1, and it has been identified as being the most toxic. And this is what causes kids to have severe allergies. It has been shown in many studies to be carcinogenic, cancer-causing, hepatotoxic, which means that it damages the liver, and it's mutagenic, which means that it does DNA changes in the cell. Dr. Wadwan Farag found that clove oil at very minute levels, like 0.06% and 0.08%, totally inhibited mold and aflatoxin production. So that is incredible to know that thieves can kill mold. Let's continue to look at this mold subject. So mold expert stumbles upon an amazingly powerful and non-toxic method of toxic mold removal in his wife's aromatherapy kit. In 2005, Dr. Edward Close, who is a friend of ours, by the way, and his wife, Jackie, who was an aromatherapist, he was a PhD, a mold remediation consultant with 30 years of experience in the environmental industry. He was asked to do a third-party sampling for mold in an apartment complex that had been flooded. It had been evacuated and it was later put up for sale. The buyer, who was renovating the apartments, had paid a company which used the strongest stuff they knew, a hospital disinfectant. Yet Dr. Close's sampling showed that either the product had not killed the mold or that the mold had already reestablished itself. So after much urging by his wife, he diffused thieves oil in the apartments for a 24-hour period of time. Now, this is what you need to write down if you are in the mold remediation mode. You need to get a pure oil diffuser and you need to diffuse it for a 24-hour period. Now, we really recommend 72 hours if it's black mold, which is called Stachybotrys. And I'll show you how effective this was. The research project yielded astonishing results, and 2 weeks later, they were even more astonishing. So let's look at what he had when he went in. You see on the left-hand side, it says spores per cubic meter. And we have Stachybotrys, which is black killer mold. We have Aspergillus, and we have Cladosporium. These are all very, very toxic molds. And these were the results after using the hospital disinfectant, which was a fungicide plus bleach. I will tell you that bleach is probably one of the most toxic chemicals you can use in your home. It causes lung weakness and can cause chemical pneumonia by breathing it into our lungs. And you know, people literally put it on their clothing and then they wear their clothing and then it gets absorbed into the skin and then they wonder why they have cardiovascular disease, because chlorine is the #1 cause of weakening arteries. Chlorine. We should never drink chlorinated water. We should never put bleach on our clothing, and we should never clean with it. And it doesn't work anyway, as you can see in this particular slide. We still had 2,267 pores per cubic meter, a little bitty of Cladosporium. Okay, so then go over to the right. You'll see that Thieves was diffused for 24 hours and the spores dropped dramatically. The thing is that they continued to drop after 2 weeks until the Stachybotrys, the black mold, was 0. And it may have continued to drop even after that. That is just amazing. And that's only after 24 hours. And Dr. Close does recommend, if you have mold, especially around children, you want to diffuse in that room for about 72 hours. That's 3 large bottles of Thieves a day in your diffuser for 3 days, which, you know, you can do the math and figure out how much that's going to cost you. But if you have a mold remediation expert come in and they do mold remediation, it's going to cost you anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000, and that's probably really low end. Depends on how much mold you have, how many rooms are affected, and I'm sure some of you have had some experience with this, but it isn't anywhere near what you would spend on Thieves, that's for sure. Okay. So Weber State University studies, and here's the Aromalux. This is the diffuser that puts out the pure oil in a fine mist. And it, because the mist is so fine, it stays suspended in the air. It doesn't just go to the ground, right? Because it has a water molecule attached to it. It stays in the air for 4 to 6 hours. So it can be working for 4 to 6 hours even after you've stopped diffusing. It's just going to stay in the air. So Weber State University showed that only 20 minutes of diffusing Thieves killed 99.2% and 99.3% of all airborne Micrococcus luteus bacteria in 2 separate trials. The longer the oil was diffused, the greater the reduction of microorganisms. You know, my heart says every single hospital in North America should be diffusing Thieves, because we have MRSA that runs rampant. We have viruses called COVID. That's why, you know, when that thing came out, I was like, well, nobody in Young Living will get that because they diffuse. And if they feel that they are susceptible to it, then they're going to get a pure oil diffuser. And they're going to diffuse every day for a minimum of 20 minutes. Pure Thieves oil. And you won't get sick. We haven't gotten sick. It's just my opinion, of course, but you can go with it or not. I also believe that every daycare in North America, in the world, should be diffusing Thieves as well, because there was a study in the April issue of the Archives of Pediatric and Adolescent Medicine that revealed that children in daycare are sick more often than their stay-at-home counterparts. Go figure. They're swapping spit. They're playing with toys. They're, you know, they're coughing all over everybody. I mean, it's just a petri dish, right? Well, the study followed 1,200 children from infancy to age 3, and the children were put through a battery of tests. And their parents were interviewed extensively as a part of this study as well. And the researchers found that children in daycare were more likely to develop things like diarrhea, upper respiratory infections, and ear infections during the first years of their lives than children who stay at home. Again, this is not rocket science, right? This is like, there's a lot of germs in here, and we're bringing them in and we're taking them home, and now the other kids are getting sick, and it's just an endless cycle, right? So what do? You turn off your alarm. What do? You diffuse Thieves. You diffuse Thieves. The 4th leading cause of death in the United States is infections caught in hospitals. So Betsy McCaughey, who is a former lieutenant governor of New York and founder of the Committee to Reduce Infection Deaths, said these hospital infections kill as many people each year in our country as AIDS, breast cancer, and auto accidents combined. That was a quote. So Maureen Daly's mother was a healthy 63-year-old woman. She was younger than me, who had had surgery to fix a broken shoulder. However, after being admitted to the hospital, Daly's mother got an infection that left her immobilized on a respirator. Daly was told that life-threatening germs are an inevitable fact of hospital life. Do not put me in a hospital. That's all I got to say. I don't want none of that stuff. Right? ABC News found dangerous germs lurking on gym equipment. You know, you think, okay, so I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to get healthy. Well, the ABC News conducted a test to find out just how many germs people could encounter when they were working out. Dr. Philip Tierno, a microbiologist, said that the large number of people, the exposed skin and sweat present at gyms, could be perfect for spreading infections. The ABC News staffers took swabs to almost every piece of gym equipment that they used, and brought the samples to Tierno's lab at the New York University Hospital. Tierno found the germs Staph aureus, Klebsiella, Enterobacter, and E. coli, which could cause various ailments. So what I recommend is bring your Thieves wipes, wipe down the equipment, bring your Thieves spray, the equipment, the barbells or whatever. Make sure you're using the Thieves hand sanitizer, right? So that your hands are clean, and you will be fine. Put Thieves on the bottom of your feet. That's going to boost your immune system. I don't know if you remember a class that I did on immunity, and I'll do it again within the next year on the immune system and how to boost the immune system. Lemon oil, which is found in Thieves, has the ability to increase blood cell count, which increases the immunity of the human body. Does it get better than that? Oh yeah, it always gets better. Is that there's a growing number of healthcare facilities using Young Living essential oils. In fact, okay, so I'm going to tell you a really quick story. In August of last year, I had been in a very aggressive yoga program, right? And I guess yoga is just not for me, because I don't just do yoga. I do yoga plus 50%. And so I mean, everything harder than anybody else, right? Until I hurt my arm. I hurt this right arm, and I thought that I hurt my bicep. Because that's where the pain was, right here. The pain was right here. And it doesn't allow me to move back. And it doesn't allow me to put my hand on my hip. This arm I can do everything with. When I raise my arms, if you can see, well, I'm getting a lot better. It's amazing. It's amazing. So it used to be, it was like this, but now I'm getting a lot better. But anyway, so I, use the CBD muscle rub. I use Deep Relief. I use Panaway. I take BLM 3 times a day. I took Sulfurzyme twice a day. I continued my Ningxia Red, kept doing what I do, and it wasn't getting any better. So I said to my chiropractor, I said, I think I need to go in and have an MRI, because I don't know what's wrong. I don't know why it won't heal. So I went, I didn't want to go to a regular doctor. It's just me. And so my girlfriend, Vonnie, and her husband, Steve, recommended that I go to the Ozzie Smith Clinic here in St. Louis, which is, it's where the Cardinals baseball team go, and the Blues go there, and they do alternative treatments for injuries, for acute injuries. So I went there, I got an appointment, I went there, they did an x-ray. Where did they do the x-ray? Yeah, they did an x-ray there, and my bones looked fine. There was nothing wrong with my bones. And so of course he said, well, you're going to need to get an MRI. So I had to go to Metro Imaging and get an MRI. And then they read it the next day. Come to find out, y'all, so, you know, we have meniscus in our knee, which is a thin coating of cartilage. And we have meniscus around our hip bones. And we have meniscus, or it's called labrum. That's what the meniscus is called in the shoulder. That thin layer of cartilage between the small bone, the arm bone, and the socket. The socket is not nearly as big as like the hip socket. It's very small. And I tore that cartilage. So the good news was that I didn't hurt my rotator cuff. You know, I didn't tear my rotator cuff, but I did tear the cartilage. And that's what caused the pain and the, you know, lack of mobility. So what they do for treatment is they do something called Prp injections, which is they take your own blood, they spin it, and they separate the serum, the platelets, from the red blood cells. And they take that yellow, it's like a gelatinous serum, and they inject that into the area of injury. What that does is, like, okay, so if you were to cut your leg and it would start to bleed, the platelets would come up to the top, and the platelets would begin to heal that cut and stop the bleeding and start to repair all the damage. So if you put platelets in a concentrated form in an area that has been damaged or injured, it will begin to go in there and rebuild, kind of like you just hired an engineer battalion, an Army engineer battalion, to come in and rebuild a city. Well, they're rebuilding the city right here, because I had my first round of injections, and that's probably why my arm, I can't believe it. Gosh, it's almost better. And I just had that done on Thursday, I think, and I will have 2 more rounds of injections. But the point is, what was the point? Is that the point is that they were using Young Living in the Ozzie Smith clinic. I was so excited. He said, oh yeah, we wouldn't be without these. He said, can't you smell it on my breath? I put it in my mouth, and I said, excuse me, doctor, but I'm not that close to you. I was not close enough to him to smell his breath. But anyway, I was really excited about the fact that these are really, and smart people do what? They use Young Living. Smart people use Young Living. So that was the point of that whole story. And now you got the whole down low on my shoulder, but it is getting better. I mean, I'm really thrilled. So anyway, nursing homes in New Jersey and hospitals in New York and clinics all over the United States are now beginning to, you know, wake up. The what is it? Is it the Cincinnati clinic? Is that the name of it? It begins with a C. Anyway, it's a large clinic who incorporates alternative. They've been using Thieves for years, probably since 2004. And the cancer clinic, DKNY's cancer clinic, Donna Karen's cancer clinic in New York, they've been using Young Living for just decades. So it's a good thing. Here is that Aromalux atomizing diffuser. And it was designed by Gary exclusively to simply enhance the aromatherapy experience and kill all those airborne things. Okay, so there's 3 ways to use Thieves. You can rub it on topically, and I really believe that everybody should be putting Thieves on the bottom of their feet every single day. 2 drops on each foot. 2 drops on each foot. That's all you have to do. And that goes into the bloodstream within 3 seconds, 3 seconds to 20 minutes, depending on you. And it'll get into the bloodstream, and it'll start combating all those things that are going to maybe give you the blues. You can breathe it through the nose or through aromatherapy, you know, diffusing in the air, and you can take Thieves internally. There's so many Thieves capsules that, you know, like recipes that we've used over the years, like the Bug Buster, where you take 10 drops of Thieves and 8 drops of oregano and top it off with 2 drops of frankincense. And if you got something coming on, you take one of those capsules, and if you got something it's already on, then take a capsule 3 times a day. That's your natural God-given antibiotic right there. You don't need to go and get any kind of antibiotic that's going to kill all your bacteria flora and make you even sicker at, you know, in the long term. So yeah, this is only therapeutic grade essential oils can be taken internally. So let's talk about all the different ways you can use Thieves. You can use it from morning until night. You can rub 3 to 4 drops on each foot in the morning, giving immediate immune support. It supports joints. You can rub it on topically. Put it on your knees if your knees hurt. Put it on your hands if your hands hurt. Diffuse in your place of business. I used to do this all the time. I used to work, yeah. I mean, I work at my Young Living now, but I used to have a day job. And I had a diffuser in my cube, and people used to hang out in my cube because they liked the way it smelled. And I used to have to ask them to leave because I had work to do, but you know, they love the smell. Oh, joy, I used to diffuse. I used to diffuse peppermint and Thieves and all kinds of stuff. Peace and calming when everybody was stressed out. Swish it in your mouth or rub it on your chest to support respiratory and digestive issues. You can place a couple of drops in your famous pumpkin pie recipe. I've done that, and in my sweet potato pie recipe as well. Can't get enough of Thieves? Apply it to the gums to help support a healthy mouth. It's really, really effective against periodontal disease and gingivitis. And so that's why we've got the Thieves toothpaste now, right? Diffuse in your home or business to reduce exposure to mold. Add to your orange juice and drink it to prevent phlegm and congestion. You can put it directly on warts. You can inhale it and ingest capsules, and it might kill those plantar warts. Apply undiluted to the toes and the feet to help support healthy nails. And you know where I'm going with that. If you get a fungus on your nails, hello, it's effective against fungus. Put on the tip of your tongue to help you stop smoking. And I know no one on here does that. Rub on the bottoms of children's feet for protection before school every day. Diffuse in the house as your children come home from school every day to support the immune system. Diffuse in nursing homes, hospitals, and daycare centers. And diffuse in the office to increase concentration and work efficiency. It will help you mentally as well. You know this, but America is the largest producers of household chemicals products in the entire world. And some of the symptoms of chemical toxicity are allergies and headaches, irritability, insomnia, skin rashes, chronic respiratory illnesses, hyperactivity, depression, fibromyalgia, poor concentration, and it negatively affects the nervous system. So what are the most common deadly household chemicals? They're found in many of your household cleaners. And what I find is really interesting is if you buy your household cleaners from the dollar store and you look for the ingredients list on the back, it's either going to be in Spanish or it won't exist. Isn't that funny? So, but if it does exist and it includes triclosan is an antibacterial agent which is found in 75% of antibacterial hand soaps and 67% of dish soaps. 36 products were sampled. They contain this chemical. This is an antibacterial agent and is registered as a pesticide with the Environmental Protection Agency. It is a chlorophenol and a class of chemicals suspected of causing cancer. That's just one chemical. And they say that the average woman puts over 80 different chemicals on her body before breakfast, whether it's her deodorant or her makeup or her body wash or her talc, whatever. These are toxic. Another deadly household chemical is propylene glycol. This is antifreeze, and so many, I would say probably 90% of the essential oils on the market have propylene glycol. We tested Now brand in 2001. It said 100% pure lavender. It was 87% propylene glycol and 17% lavender. You cannot trust what you buy in the marketplace. That's why you've got to find, one of my top 10 reasons for being in Young Living is because of their integrity. I am with Young Living because I believe that they are honest and I trust what they provide for us in the way of products. DEA is another chemical which is found in over 600 cosmetic and personal care products and is linked to cancer through skin exposure. Mineral oil, like in baby oil or mineral suntan oils, cause liver toxicity. And sodium lauryl sulfate found in every over-the-counter shampoo, even the natural ones, even in Tom's toothpaste, which is supposed to be natural. It has SLS in it. This has been directly related to loss of hearing and loss of eyesight. These are chemicals that cumulatively are destroying us. And we don't think twice about it. We are unaware. We are unaware. And that's why it's our calling, it's our mission, it's our ministry, basically, to bring awareness, bring truth, and bring light to those who don't have a clue. Introducing Thieves household cleaner. I was talking about toxic chemicals. I was talking about bleach. Well, you can use Thieves household cleaner everywhere. Use it in the bathroom, the laundry room, the kitchen, countertops, floors, windows, the car. It's great for the car, inside and out. Leather seats, no problem. Child's room, daycare centers, senior centers, doctor's offices, dentist's offices, spas, hospitals. It's great for clothing stains. Well, and now we have a Thieves laundry soap. It's an all-purpose cleaner, and all you do is combine 1 capful of the Thieves household cleaner and 2 cups of water in a spray bottle. So one 14.4 ounce bottle of Thieves cleaner is going to last you a very, very long time, because you're going to make, I don't know how many bottles they say you can make with it. If you're using a capful, that's less than a tablespoon, and it's making 2 cups. I don't know. You're getting about, you're getting a lot for a little. Let me just put it that way. It deep cleans without dangerous or synthetic ingredients. And if you add a capful of Thieves household cleaner along with your laundry soap and then dilute that by 3 times, you're going to save a lot of money on Thieves laundry soap. In fact, I did the math and I found that when I make my own laundry soap, I take one of the Thieves laundry soap and I pour a third, and a third into a 32 ounce BPA free pump bottle. And I add a cap of Thieves cleaner, a cap and a cap. Maybe some purification to that, maybe 10 drops of purification. Then I fill it up with water. It's cheaper than Gain. And Gain is nothing but chemicals. So of course it's cheaper than Tide per load. I think it came to 2.8 cents per load because you only use 3 pumps and it just lasts forever. I probably go through 2 bottles of the Thieves laundry soap a year. And I've had, my grandson lived here. I've had my niece and her family live here. I've just had a lot of people living in my house. And there's a testimonial on the bottom of this about my friend Joan and Lloyd. He's actually my cousin. We found out many years after Ken and I were married. He used it on his car and he loves it in his car. Okay. I don't know if you knew this, but Thieves has a hand soap. It has a hand sanitizer, and bacteria thrives on our hands. So washing your hands with Thieves hand soap or the Thieves foaming hand soap, a plant-based cleaner, will cleanse, defend, and condition the skin with the therapeutic grade essential oil blend of Thieves. Pure lemon and orange oils, aloe, ginkgo biloba, and vitamin E is dispensed in a rich foam. And Thieves foaming hand soap contains gentle ingredients, so it can be used often without drying or stripping the skin. And the Thieves waterless hand purifier can be used by adults and children to keep hands clean and promote good hygiene without the use of water. And it is dermatologist tested. We also have Thieves Lozenges, which I would not be without. I have them right here. I have them in my car. These are the cough drops. I like these better because they're stronger. And the Thieves Lozenges are less potent. So if you think the cough drops are too strong, just get the lozenges. You can refresh your mouth and your breath and provide soothing relief for your throat. These lozenges deliver the power of Thieves, the university tested essential oil blend, along with the flavor of natural. I'm hearing people cough, so I'm going to put everybody on mute again. Yep, there we go. Flavor of natural peppermint. They add peppermint and a little extra lemon oil. They don't have sugar in them. They're naturally sweet with stevia, and they are so good. So Elizabeth Williams, Terry Seacrest's daughter, as a matter of fact, she was a voice major in college, and actually she has been invited to play Esther in a musical play coming up soon. She says, I never go anywhere without my Thieves Lozenges. They completely soothe my throat before and after a performance. Okay, why am I not changing this? Okay, there. Also, the Thieves spray, I wouldn't be without it. I keep a bottle in my car all the time, and when that's getting low, I throw another one in there. I buy them in the 3-pack. You can spray it on grocery cart handles, on toilet seats, airline seats, door handles, any place that's enclosed, inside shoes, keyboards, phones, and hotel bedding. I don't go anywhere without my Thieves spray. My mother used to love the Thieves spray. We spray it in our mouths. If you need that quick breath freshener, spray it in your mouth. It's strong, but you know, if you get anything like me, you'll get to love the oils no matter how strong they are. You'll take them no matter how. They're just easy after a while, easy peasy. We also have a whole proprietary blend of oral care. Thieves has a whitening toothpaste, a Dentarome Plus, an Ultra, an Aroma Bright, and the Kids Sense toothpaste. And we also have Thieves mouthwash and dental floss, which I used it today and every day. I love the Thieves. I like whitening toothpaste the best. And then, of course, you know, oh, and that dental floss, my gosh, it lasts longer than any dental floss I get from my dentist. It lasts forever. It's like, it must just be I bet I could wrap the world twice with what's in that little container. I see Leslie nodding. Yes, she knows. Other uses in dentistry. Back in the day, eugenol, thymol, and carvacrol were used in dentistry. They've been used since the 19th century for things like root canal therapy, temporary fillings and cements, periodontal therapy, and alveolar abscesses and stomatitis. A 1945 Materia Medica textbook for dentists lists the essential oils of clove, cinnamon, eucalyptus, peppermint, spearmint, and wintergreen as dental antiseptics. It's currently designated GRAS, or generally regarded as safe, by the FDA, or Food and Drug Administration. So how can I afford all these great Thieves products? Let's see. What what might you already be spending? Let's transfer the dollars that you're already spending on these products: dishwashing soap, bleach, abrasive cleansers, and now we have a, what is it called? Bath and, it's a scrub. It's called the, I have it in my kitchen.
Cleaner.
What is it called, Lisa?
I think it's called like tub and tile cleaner. Is that right? Something like that.
Scrub. Yeah, it's a scrub. And it's just like your cleanser, except it's not abrasive. I have a black gas stove and I use it on that and it doesn't scratch it or anything. I love it. Tile and bath cleaner, floor cleaners, window wash, car cleaning products. You're spending your money on this stuff now. Chemically laden hand soaps and sanitizers, room deodorizers, cough drops, cough medicines. Are you buying Holes when you could be buying Thieves? All this stuff. Let's just transfer the dollars that you already spend on those products to the life-giving Thieves products. That's how you can afford it. Just start swapping them out. As soon as one's empty, make sure you have the other on your order. I haven't updated the essential rewards on here, but I will say that you can start with a Thieves, and that's going to give you pretty much what you see in this picture right here. 2 packets of Ningxia Red, 2 bottles of the Thieves foaming hand soap, 2 bottles of the spray, 2 bottles of the hand sanitizer, bottles of the cleaner, a bottle of toothpaste, and I don't believe they're putting the mouthwash in right now, but you can check out that Thieves bundle. It is the best value. And that's a really, really great way to start transferring, you know, your chemically laden stuff with the good stuff. I love the Thieves products and I've been using them, well, ever since they came out. And when I first came in 1999, we didn't have Thieves Cleaner. We didn't have any of the proprietary products. We only had the Thieves oil. And then it started rolling out. Every year, more and more started rolling out. And we were just so excited. We did not have deodorant before we had Thieves toothpaste. And that's what we used to use as deodorant. Thieves toothpaste. Can you believe that? And it worked. Just a small amount under the arms, and it works very good for toothpaste. But I still want my Mountain Mint back, and I'm gonna do something about it. Okay. So even more savings with subscribe to save is what I should have changed this to. This is a monthly shipment, and you know, you can earn 10% back for the first 3 months that you're doing a monthly shipment. And after 3 months, in the 4th month, that goes up to 20% back in free product. And you can use your points on so many things now. In fact, I believe you can use your points on diffusers now. So you need to check that out. Enjoy reduced shipping. You get free shipping if you do 100 PV or more on your subscribe to save. And if you use subscribe to save, then you're never going to run out of products. And really, you're going to buy stuff from somewhere. Why not buy it from your own store and get a kickback and help other people by sharing Young Living? That's what I say. So I think that's the end of that presentation. I am not a professional healthcare provider. I'm only an aromatherapist. And so I'm going to stop that share. And I want to thank you all for coming on. I'm going to stop my recording. And I'm going to say